Hello everyone, this is Coney1553 here, and as you might have guessed with the title, this is going to be a new series, or actually probably just the first one or whatever. It's just going to be a series on making a calculator in Minecraft. I've always been trying to make a calculator in Minecraft, make some stuff that are part in a calculator, and I never really succeeded in finishing it. Most of the time it was because my computer would not support the game, but now that I got something new, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna give it another shot. So as you can see, it's gonna be a super flat world. It's the best world to build redstone contraptions. I already have a preset in mind, so I'll just use that, and that's it. I don't want any structures, and I'm gonna enable the cheats because I added a mod to this to help me out. You guys are gonna learn about the mod as I keep using it, and you'll see that it's the most useful thing that someone actually made. So I'll just call it logic gates and fun stuff, because why not? Alright, wonder what type of world we're gonna get. Just kidding, I knew it was gonna be only iron. Oh, it lagged. Okay, never mind. Alright, time to get the basic blocks, and probably a comparator, a few levers, sticky piston just for the fun of it, and what else am I gonna need, or I could need? I'll have some stone slabs if ever I want to use them. And the last thing that's very important is the wooden axe. Okay, so let's get started, shall we? First off, when you make a calculator, when someone says calculator, first thing that probably comes in mind to most people is addition, which is, one of the things. Then you have subtractions, and then you have multiplication and division. But you can simplify those things by just saying that a subtraction is an addition of a negative number, and you can do the same with division by saying that it's just multiplication, but it's like it's like a fraction, you're multiplying a number by a fraction, so it's not actually dividing, it's just, you know what I mean, if you're not still in primary school or something. But anywho, that's one thing that comes in mind, and that's one thing that I want to succeed in this calculator. But it's going to take a few episodes to get there. Probably the first thing we can do is making the addition part of it, but also I need to choose how big I want the calculator to be done. Most of the circuits, or almost all of them actually, for the calculating part is going to be in binary. If you guys don't know what binary is, I'll try and explain it as I do some videos as best as I can, but it's just another way of writing numbers by using zeros and ones only, and each 0 or 1 depending on its position in the number is a base 2, representation of a base 2. So yeah, it's kind of vague the way I'm saying it right now, but you guys will get the idea. So let's get started with a few models, I guess, of an adder. This is probably the most common one. I'm sure some of you, if you're not new to this, have seen this one. So what you get here is something like this. Okay. Alright, and probably another very important thing to have would be a sign. It's somewhere here, isn't it? Yes, thank you. Let's say this is my input A. I'll just input A. And this is the B. So, input B. Okay. Input A, input B, and they both represent the same bit. When I say bit, I hope I have the right term, but to me a bit is one information, either a 0 or a 1, and this would be the first bit. And if you have 8 bits, you would have 1 byte, because that's how it just works. So this is bit number 1. So in binary, this would be the number we're representing 2 to the power of 0. So you could rewrite that. So this is the bit number 1, and this it represents the number 1. Okay, because 2 to the 0 or anything to the 0 to the power of 0 is just 1. So why this circuit for the half adder? Why is it even a half adder? Okay, well, calm down. This is all coming. The explanation is on its way. So right now my inputs are at off, which means the lever is in a 0 state. When it's off, it's a 0. When it's on, it's a 1. So what I'm doing right now for this half adder, my input A, which is 0, is adding the input B, which is also 0. So it's doing 0 plus 0, and the result is a 0, which is correct. It's a good answer. It's a good job. Good job. You can't do that. Now, what if I do 1 plus 0? Well, the answer is 1, right? Just common sense or common math, or just not common, but math itself. So the answer is 1, which is good. It's pretty good. Same thing goes if I do 0 plus 1. I get a 1, which is great. What happens when you do 1 plus 1? Well, if you stay in binary, you're gonna get a 0. The reason why you get a 0 is because 2 in binary is represented as 1, 0. And I will explain that in just a second. Let me just align my sign. So let's say I have my second bit here. So this is bit number 2. And this represents the number 2. And of course you would have, again, your input A, if you want. And then you had your input B, probably on the next line, okay, if you want. And you could just copy paste this beautiful thing. By the way, this is a it's an XOR gate. This is why I call the world logic gates and fun stuff, because it's pretty fun thing. Even if you don't think it's not useful, it's a lot more useful than you would think. I'll just expand it by 1, or actually undo. What's the thing? Hold on, I forgot. It's not expand, is it copy? I forgot what the command was. I'll just copy this thing. So let's just copy it. It'll come back to me eventually. And can paste it right here. Here we go. And unselect everything. Alright. Now I have 2 half adders. This one represents the bit number 2, which represents 2. So if I would do everything is off right now. Yeah, everything's off. So if I would do right now, this is 0. This represents 0 because I'm doing as my A is 0, 0, and then my B is 0, 0. So I'm just doing 0, 0 plus 0, 0, which is still 0, 0. But if I do this represents 2, this represents 1. So if I do 0, 1 plus 0, 0, then my answer is 0, 1. Which is why in binary 0, 1 is a 2. So this is why when I do 1 plus 1, I can't have this on anymore, because I should have this wire here, which is representing the number 2 that comes from there. This one should be on. It basically, when both of these are on, I should turn on this wire here. And the only way to do that is that I need to just connect it to this wire. But what do I connect? What is there to connect actually? So I need a circuit that will only turn on if both of these are on, and that's also known as the AND gate. And basically I have my AND gate right at this torch, or right at this wire here, and the best way to connect it properly is not by short-circuiting the torch, but by replacing it like this. And you just add your torch right here, and you can add a block here, and you can drag it along like this and bring it over. Okay, now this is correct. This is 100% correct. Let me just put the time back to 500. And the thing I thought of, okay, just fix that. So next thing is, once get that, okay, that's good. But what happens if you have 1 plus 1 plus 2? Well, actually, this is not 1 plus 1 plus 2. This is actually 3, because my A has a 2 and has a 1, so it's a 3. And then my B has a 1, so it's 3 plus 1, which is 4. So since it's 4, I'm going to need my next bit already. So this is bit 3, but it represents 4. And again, you have your other inputs. So input A, done, and then you have your input B on the next line. There you go. So, well, how do you get your number 4 out if you don't have anything that'll detect, oh, okay, this is on, but also this one? Like, there's 2 on, and I need another thing to come on right here. Well, this is why we're only using half adders so far, and that's why we needed a full adder. We need a full adder for all the bits except the first one, because what this is right here, this is basically the carry of the two first bits together, because it carries over the number 2 to the second bit. But we don't have anything to take in the carry. We just basically connected it to the output, and that's not how we should do it. We should actually connect it to another half adder that'll take in consideration the first and the input of the first half adder and the input of the carry in. Or coming from this point, it's carrying it out, and coming in from this point, it's carrying it in. So to fix that issue, you just remove everything, kinda, or you just need another half adder. So let me just put another one right here real quick, and like that up, a few torches like this, and an OR, and then your output. Okay. Now what you need to do is connect those together. Well, this is my input 1, so this doesn't change. Adding this to this doesn't change anything except adding a delay, because I can still flicker this one and it'll respond the same. See, both are off. This is off. If A is on, it's on. If B is on, it's on. And if A and B are on, it's off. So it's basically right now we're only using the repeater part of it because the other input is not connected. But we want the other input to be connected, so we're gonna connect it like that and just cut the wire off so that they don't connect. And now this is starting to work like a normal adder. So you have your first bit. Here's your first bit. You have your second bit, and the third bit, that's gonna need another one of those guys very soon, probably. So now I can do 1 plus 1, well actually 3 plus 1, and I do get a 4. But where is the 4 coming from? Well, we know that one of them is supposed to be, well, the 4 is actually generated from a carry, and there's a carry coming from this one, but there's also a carry coming in from this one, and this time it is coming from this one because it's this one that's getting the 2 on inputs. And easy enough to say, you can just get it right here, because the carry will only be on if both of these are on, and when this is on, turns off the torch, which lets the wire turn off, and this wire will only turn off when both torches are off, and the torches will only be off and both wires are on. And the wire controls all the blocks around it, so controls this torch. And this is our carry from our first half adder, this is the carry from our second half adder, and they need to go on the same wire, and they need to not connect to the last carry, the carry that was here before. So now we have our carry out, so let's just bring it over, and now we have our 4 that was created by doing 3 plus 1, which is good. What happens if we do 3 plus 3? So we just turn on everything, because A is 1, 2, which is 3, B is 1, 2, which is also 3. So we would get a 4 and a 2 and not a 1, and 4 plus 2 is indeed 6. So this is good, this is correct. Now what if you want to get something bigger and you want to keep going? Well, you're just gonna have to keep adding those half adders, because for the next one you also need to always take in consideration, okay, what happens when I add the 2 first ones? Okay, I have a carry in, it's gonna make a carry out, and etc. And can keep going forever. So, just to speed this up by a lot, I'm just gonna simply copy paste this, and I remembered the command that I need to use for it. I'm gonna get rid of this guy and boost it over to here maybe, and select this selection. Okay, this seems good. So this is 1, this is 2. I want to do 32 in total. Stack 30 because I already have 2. Okay. Now this is supposed to work 100%. And I'm pretty convinced it does. One mistake I did is I left all the levers on. A quick way to do that, to fix it, pretty simple. You just copy this over. This is off. I think there's 2 levers per thing, and there's 32, so I'm gonna stack it 64, but I'm already selecting 1, so only 63 times. And then, oop, 63. There we go. Now, this needs to be updated. That's all that's going on. It's not updated. See, the lever's off, but the torch is also off. There we go. Now it's all been updated. All the wires are off. Even the last one. Okay. So this right now is a working 32-bit adder. 32 bits because bit number 1 and the last one is the 32nd one. So basically I can add up numbers if I turn on all the levers, basically making input A all 1s and input B all 1s, and add them all up. What I would get is 30, it's 2 to the power of 33 minus 1. Because my last bit is 2 to the power of 32, and the next one would be 2 to the power of 33. But if I was to get a 2 to the power of 33, actually that might not be correct what I just mentioned. Because if I want a 2 to the power of 33, I can just add both of them at the end right there. Pretty convinced. Because this represents 2 to the power of 32, and it's a pretty big number. I'm gonna try and calculate it right here on my cell phone real quick. Let's see what I get. I don't even think I can get an answer out of this. Let's do 2. Where's my power function? 32. Okay, I do get an answer. Let's give it to me. So this is the, well, I'll write it down there. It's bit 32. Excuse me. And this is worth 4 294 967 296. That's 2 to the power of 32. And if I was to do this plus this and I get my carry out, this is 2 to the power of 33. If I get another like this, then I have, yeah, okay, I have 2 to the power of 33 plus 2 to the power of 32. So if I would to turn on all of the previous levers, like this one just turns on the next one and keeps going. So I don't even think you could ever turn on the first one if you were to do I'm not even sure what the number is. Technically it should be 2 to the power of 33 minus 1. And I'm just adding it to the same number, so it's just that times 2. And it would never turn on. So far, if I'm correct, the biggest number that I can get is 2 to the power of 34, but then you subtract 1 or 2 probably. But anywho, 2 to the power of 34, let's check that out, because I'm never gonna get this number, because by my A input and my B input are 32 bits max, because that's what I chose so far. So I can't get like a 34-bit number out of it, which is disappointing if I want to get something bigger. But 2 to the power of 34, that's a pretty big number, let me just tell you that. What can it be? So this would be something. This is what need a block of air. Okay, so this is this would be bit number 34, and it's this number right here, 869184. So if ever you want to do addition all the way to this number, 32 bits won't get you this far. But if you want to get 64 bits, go right on ahead and just copy paste this one time, and as you can see, it can be quite long. Also, even though this is a good adder, it's the first one created, I believe, before they decided that it's too slow. I will show you why it's too slow. This is also known as a ripple carry adder. Great name. Explains exactly why it's slow. If you don't get it, it's because the carries ripple through all the way to the end. So let's just clear my selection. So what is the slowest calculation that this adder can do? Basically will define how like the fastest it can be. So the way to do that is to test the carry, because it's the carries that will take the most time to calculate. Because right now, all this part right here, from this lever to all those torches, those are half adders, and after that it's another pair of half adders, and I'm not missing a piece, it's just weird looking like this. But okay, all these half adders are calculating two numbers in parallel, which means that they're calculating at the same time, and they're all at the same speed, which would be 2 ticks, which is 0.2 seconds. So we would get an answer out of all these half adders in 0.2 seconds, which is pretty fast. But then we need the answer to go through all of these half adders, which are also in parallel to each other, and they're also 2 ticks. So then you have 0.4 seconds before, not for this, but for this one. Let's say I'm just doing 0 plus 2. Turning that little wire on right there took 0.4 seconds to calculate 0 plus 2. But what happens when you have a carry? Oh, well, that's a lot different. So the first carry is 3 plus 3. Or just 2 plus 3, or anything plus 3. The first carry is when you do the 1 plus 1 here. So what happens is you have, let's say we actually do 3 plus 3. So the 2 plus 2 in the second bit happens as at the same time as the 1 plus 1 happens. So those answer being 0, 0 took 0.2 seconds, which is good. And then the carry generated, which took 1 tick and 2 ticks. So it took 2 ticks for the carry to happen, which is justifying that it took 0.2 seconds. Then it carries over to this one and takes 2 ticks to be like, oh, I'm doing 2 plus 0, which is good. Then this one is doing the same but with a 4, so it's like, oh, 4 plus 0, so it took 0.2 seconds. So again, it took 0.4 seconds. It's not bad. It's not slower. It's fine. But that's because the carries were both generated at the same time. What happens if the carry hasn't been generated yet because of future calculations that didn't happen? Let's say you just put this number in. You could have 4 plus 2 plus 1, which is a 7. Then your second number, well, my first number in this case is A. So my B number is 7, my A number right now is 0. So it's doing right now 7 plus 0, which is 1 plus 2 plus 4, which is 7. If I add 1, it's gonna recalculate the whole thing. But how is it gonna recalculate it? Well, first off, this torch will take 2 ticks to turn off, but this torch, which is the carry out, will take 2 ticks to turn on. So this guy calculated, and it's good. It's sending the answer. Good job. While this guy was calculating, this guy and this guy also calculated. What did they calculate? They calculated, well, for this one he calculated 2 plus 0 and he calculated 4 plus 0. So they gave the same answer. And then carry comes in. This guy gets calculated and he's like, oh, I need to turn off because he has 2 plus 2. So he's like, oh, this is a 4, so I can't have a 4. So turns off, takes 0.2 seconds, so now we're at 0.4. While this turns off, this turns on at the same time. Takes also 0.2 seconds for this to turn on. Okay, cool. So 0.4 seconds to get our 4 generated. But then, as the 4 was being generated, this guy who calculated 4 plus 0 was sending it over to this guy who was also calculating 4 plus 0. And he said, okay, well, it's still a 0, so I'm just 4 plus 0, still got a 4, which is good. But after he's done calculating, that's when he receives the carry out of the 4 from the previous bit. Then he receives it and he's like, oh no, I need to recalculate another 0.2 seconds. And he's like, oh, finally it's not a 4, it's a 8. So he turns off 0.2 seconds later, and at the same time the carry out turns on. And while this was happening, he was, at the first step doing 0 plus 0, second step doing again 0 plus 0. At the third step, well, he was done, so he was just, chilling right there, not doing anything much. But this guy, he was calculating the carry out from before, and this guy, he's sending it over, and now he's receiving it. And he just received, oh, I need to calculate 8 plus 0. Takes another 0.2 seconds, and then you get your answer. And how long did that take? That took 0.8 seconds to finally calculate that number 8 instead of taking 0.4 seconds. That is because the carry had to be calculated, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one, and it goes through all of them. So the speed of this one is how long would the carry, starting from the first bit, how long would it take to get to the last one? Because that would be the longest calculation ever. It's when all the carries need to be calculated one at a time. And that's how you can test the speed of the ripple carry adder. Of course, in real life, you would get nanoseconds, and you probably couldn't tell that this is slow. But in Minecraft, you can definitely see that it is really, really slow. So to test it out, I'm just gonna get the signal to go all the way to my first lever. So the carry out is here. Let's just boost it up. Not like that. Yeah, like that. Why not? Let's just boost it up all the way across. I can keep it like this. This won't interfere. Okay. Let's take it from here. Just want to tell you guys, this is a possible model, but it's not the one that I want to use for the adder, because it's a little bit too slow, especially for multiplication. You guys will see that in a bit. I need to put my wires down first. Let's just put it all down. All of it. Let's go like that. I forgot a wire there. And then it's just testing if the power goes all the way to there. And a little more. Sorry, this is taking a while. This is exactly why I don't want to use this type of adder, but I thought it's the easiest way to understand how addition works in binary and how it works in circuitry. So just to turn on the carry, there we go, and we put my type of repeaters. Power goes through the block, powers the repeater, goes through the block, powers the wire. So instead of putting the repeater there and starting the next wire here, you have an extra 2 blocks to work with. Might not seem like a lot, but when you have a wire that's a few hundred blocks long, it can add up and probably save you a lot of delays, because every time you add a repeater, it's a 1 tick delay, 0.1 seconds. And you guys will see that it's the same delay as a torch. Basically all the torches here are making it slow. It's just the way Minecraft is. You will see this is probably a 7-second speed adder or something. Maybe it's a 6.4, I'm not sure, I can't remember. This is only for 32 bits. Every time you add a bit, it's going to become even slower, which is why it's not useful when you have 64 bits. Alright, so then when you get here, what I like to do is, well, you take down your signal. Like to put a few repeaters here and take away the sign. I like to put a piston, because then you can know how long it, when the both pistons turn on, can compare the speed. So okay, so to fix the issue, I'm gonna, well, not the issue, but prepare the calculation. Oh, gonna do this, stack, and stack it 31 times. Here we go, and probably gonna have to update. Yep. That did that work? That did not work. That did not work. Okay, let's just flicker it up. I think that worked or not. It did not work. I think I might have to do it manually. Sadly, can't update all of them. But I feel like you can. Just don't know how. Should have probably just copy pasted that the torch is off or something in that sense. For those that didn't get it yet, the lever's on, but the torch should be off. It's my mistake. It's Redstone doesn't update by itself. You need to have something to update it. Okay. So right now I think this is a B input, so our number B, because we're always doing A plus B or B plus A, doesn't matter. We're always doing that. Our B number is just 32 number ones all next to each other. And our A number is 32 zeros next to each other. And what I'm trying to get is how fast is this adder. Now I need to subtract all the repeaters that I added for the signal to get over here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and then 6, and then 7. Okay, so minus 7. 7 is 4, 3. Okay, this is the real answer right here. Okay, so let's check it out. Now it's this is all on trying to get this this piston to extend at the same time as this one, because this one is going to extend exactly when it's done doing all the calculations. So you just turn on the carry, wait a little bit. There we go. Now it's done calculating. That took forever. Probably gonna have to add a lot of repeaters. I'll just try and do that amount for a start. Why not? Just some blocks. And alright, let's try that again. It's probably not enough. Yeah, it's not enough. Let's turn it off. I'm not gonna wait that long. Okay. Let's add let's say 3. Why not? And a few more right here. Okay, let's try that one. Okay. Still not slow enough, but getting there. Getting there one day. Don't know when, but oh. Maybe 2, maybe a little more. I think this is gonna be enough. And blocks, of course, and turning off, and then 500, let's say. Ooh, that was instant. Is that the right timing then? Let's see. How long does it take? Oh. Seemed pretty in sync to me. I'll just be sure. Yeah, alright, so how much is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 14, 16, so that's 64, 6.4 seconds long. Nice. Let's write it down. So it's a ripple carry adder. It's 6.4 seconds. Oop. All right. So this is for 32 bits only. So it's for 32 bits. And it's not good because I'm not sure if that's how it works, but it may just be if I double the bits, this time is gonna double, because I really would like to do a 64-bit calculator. 64-bit because most computers these days, some of them are 128 bits, but pretty rare, not really useful either, I think. But most of them are 64 bits. 64 might be a little bit too much too. Probably gonna need a big display to show that number. It's probably impossible for me to even calculate that number on my phone. It's gonna give me like something like something times 10 to the power of something, because this so far is 3, it's 9, 10, it's 11 digits. So I need a display that's 11 digits or 10 digits in this case, but this one would just be double that, and it's gonna stop at 8 over here. So even if I do have a carry out, it's still gonna fit on the 10 digit display. But this one boosts us up to 11, and I don't even want to know what 2 to the power of 64. Then I have a carry out of 2 to the power of 65. I don't want to know how many digits that is. Don't even think I can figure it out. Even on paper would probably take a while. Do 2 times 2 times 2 and do that 64 times. If you have the time to do that, if you feel like it. I don't feel like it. But anyways, I'm gonna stop this recording here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope next episode won't be as long. But this is a ripple carry adder, slowest adder ever created, but the easiest to comprehend how addition would work in a circuit. So yeah, once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.